There are feelings that never quite find their way into words. They don't arrive as confessions, nor do they unfold through clear declarations. Instead, they exist quietly, hidden in lingering glances, in unconscious steps that always seem to follow, in a presence that feels far too important to be accidental. This is the kind of emotion many fans believe they witness when watching the dynamic between Jungkook and Kim Taehyung, two souls from BTS who seem to move within a world of their own, even when surrounded by millions. Nothing about them is ever explicitly confirmed. There are no statements, no labels, no carefully crafted narratives to explain what they are to each other. And yet, that silence is precisely what makes everything feel louder. Jungkook, known for his composure and quiet control, often appears as though something within him shifts when Taehyung is near. Not dramatically, not in ways that demand attention, but in subtle, almost fragile reactions that feel too genuine to be rehearsed. On stage, beneath blinding lights and roaring crowds, Jungkook often seems to have only one true focal point. His eyes wander, but they always return to Taehyung. And when they do, there is something unmistakable in the way he looks at him. It is not just observation, it is softness, intensity, and something deeper that lingers just beneath the surface. A kind of quiet gravity, as if Taehyung is not just someone he sees, but someone he feels. Jungkook has never been the type to express himself loudly. He does not reach for grand gestures or dramatic displays. Instead, everything about him speaks through restraint. And yet, that restraint often reveals more than it hides. Because what he doesn't say becomes visible in everything he does. In the way he instinctively closes the distance whenever Taehyung drifts away. In the way he remains aware, constantly, almost unconsciously, of where Taehyung is. In the way proximity between them never seems coincidental, but inevitable. There is a quiet possessiveness in that behavior, one that doesn't demand, doesn't restrict, doesn't claim, but simply exists. It does not say stay, yet somehow, it always draws Taehyung back within reach. It is not loud enough to be undeniable, but never subtle enough to be ignored. There are moments, small, fleeting, easily overlooked, that carry an emotional weight far greater than they appear to. When Taehyung laughs freely with someone else, Jungkook's reaction is rarely obvious, yet it is there. A pause that lingers just a second too long. A shift in expression that passes too quickly for most to notice. A quiet entrance into the interaction, as if pulled by something he cannot quite resist. It is not jealousy in its rawest form, nor is it something easily defined. But it is something, and that something is what captures attention. Their closeness has a rhythm that feels natural, almost instinctive. Physical contact between them never appears forced or deliberate. A hand resting briefly on a shoulder, a step taken in perfect sync, a moment where space disappears without explanation. These interactions unfold as if they are second nature, as if distance is something unfamiliar to them. What makes it even more compelling is the history they share. Jungkook and Taehyung are not simply two individuals brought together by circumstance. They grew within the same system, endured the same pressures, and navigated the same uncertainties from a young age. They witnessed each other at their most vulnerable, at their most exhausted, at their most real. And through all of that, something took root. Connections built in that kind of environment are rarely simple. They are shaped by time, by shared struggles, by moments that never reach the public eye. And perhaps that is why Jungkook's attention toward Taehyung feels so deliberate, even when it appears unconscious. Because when someone becomes part of your foundation, protecting that connection is no longer a choice. It becomes instinct. Taehyung, in contrast, expresses himself more openly. He is warm, expressive, unafraid to show affection in ways that are visible and immediate. And it is within this contrast that their dynamic finds its balance. Jungkook, quiet and contained. Taehyung, vibrant and free. Two different energies, moving together in a way that feels unexpectedly seamless. There are moments when everything else seems to fade away around them. The noise disappears, the stage dissolves, and what remains is simply the presence of two people sharing the same space. In those moments, nothing needs to be explained. Nothing needs to be proven, because whatever exists between them feels complete on its own. Of course, interpretation plays a powerful role in how these moments are perceived. What fans see is often shaped by emotion, by imagination, by the desire to understand something that was never meant to be fully revealed. The word possessive is often used, but not in a way that implies control or limitation. Instead, it reflects a sense of closeness so strong that distance feels unnatural. Does Jungkook truly struggle to control what he feels for Taehyung? Or is this simply the quiet intensity of a bond that has grown over years of shared experience? The truth remains uncertain, suspended somewhere between reality and perception. But perhaps that uncertainty is what makes it so captivating. Because not all connections are meant to be defined. Some are meant to be felt, observed through fragments, understood through silence, and remembered through moments that linger long after they pass. Jungkook may never speak openly about what lies beneath his actions. He may continue to hide everything behind soft smiles, casual gestures, and the calm image the world has come to recognize. But for those who truly watch, who notice the patterns, who feel the subtle shifts, there is something undeniably present. And as long as his gaze continues to return to the same person, as long as his steps unconsciously align with the same rhythm, as long as distance continues to collapse without reason, this story will continue to exist. Not as something that needs confirmation, but as something that lives quietly in the space between what is seen and what is felt. A story without a clear beginning. A connection without a defined ending. Something that resists explanation, yet invites endless interpretation. And within all of that, one truth remains. There is something there. Something soft, something intense, something unspoken, yet impossible to ignore.